Another match, another major upset that you are seeing in this ICC ODI World Cup 2023. You thought Afghanistan's win against England in Delhi was huge. This is also massive because Netherlands, the Oranje, have done have hurt South Africa yet again. 2022, they had won by 13 runs, but you all dismiss it that this has been a T20 World Cup. Here in an ODI World Cup, South Africa have been humbled by 38 runs by the Dutch. In Dharamshala, in a match that was reduced to 43 overs, the Dutch have been found wanting. And that is the reason why you're seeing there are jubilant celebrations in Dharamshala at this point in time. Because if you look at it, man, oh man, what a brilliant, brilliant effort from the entire Dutch contingent. Right from Scott Edwards' magnificent 78, combined with all the other contributions from Aryan Dutt towards that number 10, and then a brilliant bowling from Roelof van der Merwe, Logan van Beek, and also Bas de Leede. Netherlands have scripted history yet again in this World Cup. You thought 2022 was a watershed moment. This is another watershed moment for the Dutch when it comes to their cricket. Remember, Netherlands came through on the back of a qualifier. They had to go through the qualifiers. They defeated the West Indies in the chase of 374. And man, oh man, what a brilliant, brilliant effort this has been. And many people were saying that, oh, maybe the Dutch did not deserve to be here. Oh, maybe they didn't deserve to be here in this World Cup. They came through sheerly on luck and all that. But oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It is really, really going to be a fantastic effort indeed. The Dutch have silenced the critics that are there that, okay, they are here to play top level cricket. I mean, just have a look at all the individuals who are there. Sijbrand Engelbrecht, former South Africa, now working in a finance company. Part-time cricketer, full-time financial consultant. Came out of it, wanted to play cricket. Now he has done a fantastic job indeed. Look at even Roelof van der Merwe. Even he had quit playing cricket, but then he wanted to represent the Netherlands, the passion that was there. He took that catch to break South Africa's hearts. Here, his spell has ensured that he is once again ensured that his former nation has suffered yet again. And that's the reason why a fantastic, fantastic effort indeed from a South African duo that actually hurt South Africa. How often has that happened? So after England collapsed against the Afghans in Delhi, on this pitch, which had a bit of bounce, which had a bit of turn and seam movement, it was the Netherlands bowlers and their discipline that ensured that, man, oh man, it was a wonderful, wonderful performance. 2 matches, you saw Quinton de Kock score hundreds. When he didn't score, that was when South Africa were under pressure. David Killer Miller, he tried to ensure that South Africa, the Proteas were in the hunt. One catch was dropped, by the way. Roelof van der Merwe was the bowler. The catch was dropped at wideish long on. And boy, the expression that was there, they said, oh, maybe we have potentially dropped the match. But later on, Miller was undone. And that was when South Africa really, really faced an uphill task to ensure that they were in the race. But a 38-run win. And this now adds to the list of major, major upsets that are there in the World Cup. I mean, if I have to just let you through the list, maybe from 1979 onwards, Sri Lanka, at that time an associate nation, beating India, that was a massive achievement indeed. You look at maybe Zimbabwe beating Australia in 1983, India beating the West Indies in 1983. Then you look at 1992, Zimbabwe beating England. 1996, Kenya beating the West Indies. Those were all massive wins. 1999, South Africa losing to Zimbabwe. That loss ensured their net run rate would dip below Australia, and in that tied semi-final, it would prove to be cataclysmic indeed. Then you look at 2003, Kenya beating Sri Lanka yet again. And then looking at it in 2007, Bangladesh beating India and South Africa. 2011, Ireland beating England. 2019 again, Bangladesh beating South Africa. This now, 3 days, you have seen 2 major upsets. Afghanistan beating England, defending champions England. And now you are seeing a brilliant, brilliant. And I think I will be joined by Harshit and Harshit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Siddharth. Can you hear me?
Yes, and boy, oh boy, were you still stunned by what has happened? Because see, the Oranje have done what the Afghans did, and that to two very established nations. And it joins that elite list, say, from 1999 onwards. Zimbabwe beating South Africa, Kenya beating the West Indies. You saw Bangladesh beat India in 7, South Africa in 7, 19 again. I mean, where do you rate this win when you look at World Cup upsets?
I think Kenya's win in '96, Siddharth, over the West Indies. I think because Kenya where they were then, and for them to have done that, I think that really stands out for me. And this one would probably be a close one over there. Even Ireland stunning both Pakistan. Pakistan, of course, they stunned first, and I don't think they were a full member nation then. For them to have
Yeah,
stunned Pakistan, um,
and England
that
2011.
that stands out. And then, of course, that 328, 29 run chase, whatever it was, for them to again, this is going to be very, very close. I think we'll need to have a poll on this as to what will go down in history as the biggest upset in the Cricket World Cup history. But somewhere deep inside, Siddharth, I must tell you, I am happy with this upset. I am happy because it throws this World Cup open. You thought that Afghanistan had done that. Well, the Netherlands have gone ahead and tell their the Afghanistan players that, well, we can do
Yep.
exactly what you're capable of doing as well. So I'm glad with this result. I'm surprised, but I'm happy. I think I'm more happy than surprised at the moment.
I mean, if you look at it, see, Netherlands had put up a pretty decent show against both Pakistan and New Zealand. They had their moments, but they just couldn't sustain it in this World Cup. And come to think about it, Netherlands and Afghanistan have already gotten off the mark than Sri Lanka, 1996 World Cup champions, by the way. That is how big this 2023 World Cup has already been. You saw Australia at the bottom. Now you saw Australia go on top, come out of the bottom after their win against Sri Lanka,
So
and that's
now,
why.
so that since you mentioned about the World Cup table, I think it is going to be Sri Lanka now. Bottom of the table with
Yes.
no wins at all after 3 matches.
Yep. They lost to, you may say, they lost to Pakistan. A big loss for them there. They lost to Australia. And they lost to South Africa. Three major losses. And it's not
So
good news
so
for them. But for the.
So yeah, so Sri Lanka right at the bottom, and Australia still continues to be accompanied by Netherlands and Afghanistan, who, by the way, just like the Aussies, have 2 points as well. So they're not pointless, but very good company that, let's say, they find themselves in right at the moment.
Yep. And we are joined by Nikhil also. When I first gave him the link, he said the unthinkable is about to happen. But yes, Nikhil, it's happened. 3 days, you're seeing two major upsets. Is it now time to put this thing of called associate nations or minnows to bed and say that 10 proper teams are playing in the World Cup? No differentiation between top and associate nations anymore.
First, I want to know. I hope Harshit. I just joined a discussion. I hope he wasn't talking about our discussion when he said pointless. I think he was talking about who is he calling pointless. Was it
Sri Lanka have not gotten off the
or the
mark in the
discussion?
World Cup. That's
Acha,
pointless.
Sri Lanka without points, not pointless.
Yes.
I think it's pointless. This discussion is pointless. What you are saying
No,
is
no.
pointless.
He called Sri
Ah,
Lanka pointless.
Well,
ah.
I think we've all been proven wrong if we thought all these matches that all teams are going to be having in the World Cup against Afghanistan and Netherlands would be pointless. It's turned out to be lots of points for these teams.
See, I tell you, I don't want to. You were there, Harshit, yesterday when we were discussing in the post-match discussion, and we were talking about India's opponents in the future, right? And we were saying that they have England, they have South Africa, they have New Zealand, and I'd picked New Zealand to beat India. And at which point, I think you had asked about South Africa, and the reason I said South Africa cannot beat India is because they are not too far away from a batting collapse. I had said that there will come a day where Quinton de Kock, Markram, Van der Dosen,
Klassen.
all of them will flop on a same day. They will flop together on the same day. I thought that will come a little later. It's come a bit earlier because I know that about this South African team. They have very talented batters, and that's why I wasn't very bullish about the South African team. Even for them to win a tournament, they may very well make the top four. But I know this from South Africa that they will never be consistent. They'll have all the talent in the world, they'll never be consistent, and that's where they'll shoot themselves in the foot, as they have done in previous World Cups. And nothing much has changed. They can go in with as much talent as you want, which is why I think semis maybe not winning a tournament for sure, which is something I can't say for an Australia, which is something I can't say for an England, which is something I can't say for India. More often than not, they'll be very stable team. They can have bad days, you can lose a game. But I'm saying this collapses even against a weak team, South Africa can have, which is why I wasn't. And today is that day. By the way, I'm just trying to say most of the batters, and I'll take you back to the position that they were in. Let's start from the Klaasen wicket. But before that, you had a collapse. I think Markram got one which stayed low. Though I must say that was smart bowling. He bowled cross seam. It was cross seam, and so he got him out.
Van Meckeren.
Yeah. But I'm saying
Also, I don't think that one stayed low. I think the Markram just misread the length of the ball. I don't think it hit almost the top of the stump. It didn't particularly stay very low, if I'm not wrong.
I thought it stayed low, but it stayed low because he bowled cross seam. So, which is why that particular delivery was a bit low. Anyway, I mean, that's not the point that I'm trying to make about that. All I was saying was that let's start from Klaasen. I mean, bad ball. Okay, it was a nothing ball. Should have been dispatched. Finds the fielder. After that, South Africans were hell bent on giving up their wicket. Look at a Miller. Such an experienced guy. If I was the coach of South Africa today, I would give him a dressing down. Absolute dressing down. The shot that he played against the left arm spinner where his catch was dropped, that was not the time to play that shot. What did you need to do? Just knock around the ball, which is what lack of experience is. I'm just saying, you had a Virat Kohli in that situation, a KL Rahul in that situation. What would have they done? They wouldn't have played a shot like that. They would have taken you home even after even a Hardik Pandya would have come after that. They would have played sensible cricket and taken you home. What was Miller doing? That drop catch, after that also he didn't learn. If you see, I believe you me, I was watching that match and I was telling you, every ball that was slightly short, he was trying to pull it. I mean, he was, hell-bent on finding that square leg boundary. Even good length balls, he was just pulling. That was a clear-cut sign of a man who has no clue, who has no instincts to survive. All he's thinking is, I'm going to play a blinder. If it comes off, I'll get a lot of runs. We'll win. And that's it. So he's left it Ram Bharose. That I keep playing aggressive cricket. I'll win one day. And he got three of those shots connected. One went for a 4 and a few for a double. But I believe you me, I was sitting with a few friends and I said, you know what? He's going to be bold playing this shot because he's doing it too often. He is not playing straight. He's not finding gaps. He's not taking singles, doubles as any sensible batter would do. And that's exactly what South Africa did. I think they deserve to lose. I don't think they have the maturity or the sensibility to win such games. They'll win on a true surface where you have to get 300, where everyone will hit through the line, whether it's Miller, Klaasen, Markram, all of them, and they'll all get 200 runs, strike rate, 80 runs, and take their team home, and they'll surprise everyone. When it needs a bit of craft, sensibility, some bit of batsmanship, I think that they lack that, and that was what Netherlands exposed today when it comes to the South Africa.
And if I have to expand from your point, Nikhil, they just had to look at what the Netherlands lower order did. Calculated risks with some sensible batting. For example, Roelof is an exception. But Aryan Dutt, for example, he waited his time. And then when he got the bad ball, he hit it for a 6. He waited for the bad ball. Aryan Dutt, Roelof van der Merwe, if you look at it, had those contributions not come, they would not even cross 220. And that is exactly what South Africa managed at this point in time, 207. Now,
and they managed that 207 thanks to Maharaj. Otherwise, they would have lost by 80 runs. So forget the other team. They could have learned something from Keshav Maharaj only. I mean,
exactly.
And that's the problem. I think, I like the point that, I think Siddharth made that, true surface, I think this team won't struggle. We saw when the bounce is very true, when it's exactly what you think it's going to be. What we saw here in Delhi, we saw this team and they got to that record total the other day. But again, on a surface where it's tricky, That's the problem with having one-dimensional players, and there are these one-dimensional players who only love playing slam bang cricket. That's the problem with this side. The instinct to go after the ball and to go big, Miller has that, Van der Dussen has that, again Quinton de Kock has that. These players, it's very difficult for these players who want to play big to control their instinct and play calculative and smart cricket when their team really needs them to play that kind of cricket. That's the problem with the people who know they can clear the boundary.
No, and I'll further expand on your point, Harshit. Today, let us not blame the surface for what happened. It was disciplined bowling from the Netherlands. Let us not forget the likes of Van Meekeren, the likes of Van der Merwe, Basteleder, everybody bowled with discipline. You see, stump to stump, just
Stump to
outside
stump.
our stump,
Yeah.
some slots balls. There was no demons on the wicket whatsoever. In fact, if somebody had stayed, like how Keshav Maharaj stayed on the wicket, it became better to bat on. You could just hit your strokes, take the calculated risks, and ensure you wait for the bat ball but rotate your strike. That is exactly what happened. The Netherlands lower order did that. Scott Edwards, let's not forget, apart from Roelof van der Merwe and Aryan Dutt Knox, the anchor who was doing that was Scott Edwards. And that is the reason why they got to that competitive score. If you look at it, Miller was under pressure, okay, because the rest of the batters were failing him. He had to go for the big shot, but he didn't have the maturity to rotate the strike. And that was when he played that absolutely horrendous shot, and South Africa's fate was sealed. It was just a wicket coming, by the way.
You know what? I'll just add that point, and there's no escaping for South Africa here at the moment as we dissect this performance of theirs. They've again, I think, it's out in the open now. Their bowling towards the death is bad. We said that even
Yes.
when they said that record total, in Delhi, even Sri Lanka, by the way, scored in excess of 300 from a position where they should have closed the game. They ended up conceding runs at the death. Today as well, just poor bowling at the death, absolutely bad bowling, and you easily gave about 40 odd extra runs which really could have been prevented, I felt, from South Africa, thanks to some very very ordinary bowling at the death.
And even Australia, look at what happened in Australia. They allowed them to let go of the hook. They could have won by 180, 190 runs, but they won by 134 runs. They can't polish the tail off. This is the Rabada, Ketsi, Ngidi. This kind of a bowling attack cannot dismantle the lower order, means they've got serious concerns.
And they're bowling short at the death is what I've noticed. Short bowling, they're not being able to nail the Yorker. So what they're doing is they
Correct.
know that they're not getting the Yorker right, they're pulling it way too back.
Yep.
Yesterday when we were discussing after the game got over, we looked at the points table, and I think all of us said, okay, tomorrow South Africa going on top. Not one person flinched. We looked at South Africa's net run rate 2+, and we said, okay, you know what? Maybe 24 hours later, we'll be discussing South Africa will be number one because they've beaten Netherlands. We had just taken it for granted. Guess what? That's great news for India. They remain number one. Though I must say, South Africa haven't done too much harm to their net run rate with that Maharaj playing in the end. So 38 run loss will not do too much damage to their net run rate. Could have been worse had it been an 80 run loss, and they were almost on the verge of losing by that margin. But not that bad. And what the other thing that this game tells you, that there's a bit of zip around as you expected in Dharamshala. I saw green tinges on the pitch as well. The ball is flying around. So fast bowlers are going to enjoy bowling here. And India play New Zealand here in Dharamshala. If conditions remain the same, we're in for a nice battle
Humdinger.
there. Yeah.
We are in
New
for a
Zealand
humdinger.
would be relishing these conditions. It'll be like
But
back home for them.
yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. This loss, although it is embarrassing for South Africa yet again, they should be thankful it's not come towards the fag end. I mean, remember, you look at the trend in South Africa's losses, if you look at in ICC events. 1999, they lost to Zimbabwe in the Super 6 stage, but then that dented their net run rate by such a margin by which the tie ensured they were eliminated in the semi-final.
Yeah.
You look at 2007, in the Super 6 stage, they lost to Bangladesh, but then they got absolutely hammered by Australia. 2022, undefeated throughout in the T20 World Cup. What happens? One loss. And they say, Pakistan, please come into the semi-final. We don't want to go because we are playing against our own countrymen who have deserted us and gone to the Netherlands at that time. I mean, look at this team.
There's something with South Africa having an impression and leaving a mark, let's say, in every ICC tournament, be it for reasons good or bad.
Which is why I didn't want to put them in the top 4 initially. I didn't want to put them because
No,
of these kind of performances.
I had put them in the top 4 about a month before the tournament started, but just before the tournament was starting, I removed them and got New Zealand because with the way New
Yeah.
Zealand is playing, I was like, no chance that New Zealand's not making through. But let me tell you now, I don't think it's going to be very simple. It does seem like that India are a cut above the rest, clearly. And so you're going to have, and maybe New Zealand to an extent, though, again, it's still early days. 3 games may not give you a exact impression. I think 5, 6 games is when we'll have a better
Yeah.
idea. Assuming India, New Zealand are that cut above the rest, there's going to be a dogfight between South Africa, Australia, England, Pakistan. What this result has done, given a fresh leaf of life to both Pakistan, Australia, teams that were like, oh, we
And
may be in
England.
a bit
And
of situation
England.
forward. England, yeah, but England just had that one loss, but Australia with 2 losses, they've won
Hmm.
one. So,
No,
and
England,
Pakistan had,
England also two losses, no?
Yeah,
Afghanistan
that's
and
what he
New
said.
Zealand.
Yeah.
yeah. So England with 2 losses. Whose birthday is this? Yeah, this
What was that though? What
Maybe
happened?
it's
Is it
a first super chat.
or something, maybe. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
first super chat. Or maybe someone's gone Dutch and just flooded our thing with balloons.
yeah.
Yeah.
no? But
I mean, I'm very
these
happy
days,
for them.
I
I mean,
recently got told with AI what happens is so if I was to just wave, you'll get this wave emoji. I thought because I've done two, so maybe I thought some birthday thing
you'll get
came
a
out. Again,
balloon.
you never know with AI these days.
You're not
Yeah.
Pennywise the clown wherein you get in two and then you get balloons.
I just want to take a few comments. Surya Reddy saying table wide open and made easy for Pakistan. Nobody's favorite now. Sid is laughing, and I'm afraid Pakistan in the knockouts. Wait for the big comments from the other side of the border soon to qualify. Yeah, because Sid called them minor minnows. Too
Heavy
early.
minnows.
Whatever, too early. Siddharth says Springboks should have some lessons for Proteas on how to win trophies. That's a good one, Siddharth. Springboks
I
playing so
know.
well.
I know. I mean, I just don't understand. You have the Springboks, the greatest rugby team that is there along with the All Blacks in the history
I
of the
was just
sport.
saying, he's saying the greatest rugby team, like he was calling it. I was like, has he forgotten All Blacks? But then he
No, 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 no.
was corrected towards the
The
end of
most
the.
successful with 3 World Cup titles each. If you look at finals performance for the Springboks, they rarely fail. The Proteas somehow find ways to ensure they snatch victory from the jaws of defeat or they snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. That is the situation with them. I really don't understand why. Because yet another chapter has been added. Let us not make any mistake about it. Yet another chapter has been added in South Africa's long list of the C word, which all South Africans don't want to hear.
Oh, say it, say it. Why are you so scared?
No,
Say it.
but
Yeah.
right now they're not in a position for them to be calling it that C word. No,
They can.
Yeah,
I mean, who
but they
knows?
did choke today. Let's be honest. They should have choked. They choked when they
see,
had Netherlands on the mat. For they could have. They were
They
8
were
down
145 for 7.
for 7 or something. Yeah. So should have restricted them for below 200 easy. They choked
Yeah.
there, and then later as well. You should 245. I agree, maybe, but against this bowling lineup, inexperience, you should have chased it down. So they
Yep.
botched it up completely. Use the C word, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. You have been beaten by one financial management expert, okay, in Zybran Engelbrecht. One risk management guy in Teja Nidamanuru. There are only certain few professionals who play full time in the Netherlands team. For example, Bas de Leede. His father, Tim, had tried in the 1996 and 2011 rather, Tim de Leede. In 2011, he had tried to help them win a game. Netherlands didn't win, unfortunately, but here his son has done it after 12 years. And trust you me, it's going to be fun times with the de Leedes because remember, they are the most famous cricketing family that you have in the Netherlands. Tim de Leede in 2011, now Bas de Leede in 2023. So, fantastic effort indeed from them. And Vikramjit
was it
Singh, Max O'Dowd.
was it
Max
Tim
O'Dowd is
who
not
had
from
take,
Netherlands, he's from New Zealand.
was it Tim who had dismissed Sachin once?
Yes. Tim de Leede, he did
Yeah.
get Sachin Tendulkar out. Yes, you're right. You're right, Harshit. So, wow, what a win, yeah. I mean, Dharamshala, this is how it's going to be under lights. What a contest on 22nd.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
first day night contest, by the way, here. And luckily
Nikhil,
it zipped around. I think win
Nikhil,
the
do you
toss, goal
suddenly,
first, goal second.
Nikhil, do you suddenly feel like going there?
I do feel like going there anyway. Not just for the World Cup. Allow me any time to go to Dharamshala.
Exactly.
I'll go any day.
6 years ago, I had covered my first test there, and boy, was it a magnificent experience.
And my sister stays there, so I'll get an opportunity to see her as well. So,
Wow, in Dharamshala. Man,
yeah.
oh man, what a place. Lovely people, lovely climate. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna take a few more questions. Okay. Kushagra Singh says, do you think that Lucknow pitches are not a mystery? I agree with you, Kushagra. We discussed that at length yesterday. There were a lot of question marks about the Lucknow pitch, especially with what we saw in the IPL. And then before that, in that bilateral series as well, where Hardik Pandya in that T20I series was very critical of the pitch that was on offer in Lucknow. And then we saw in the IPL. So it did seem very tricky, but I think they relayed it. Then there were question marks whether, 2-3 months before the World Cup, you're relaying it. Is that enough time for it to be ready? But I think whatever I've seen of it, they've sorted it. It will be on the slower side. It may still help spinners, but it's still a good enough pitch to have games. So not really bad. And I think that mystery is over. India playing England on a spin-friendly track. You know which team that's going to support. So I think
I
for me,
think, barring the Chennai wicket, which seemed to be a rank turner, I think most of the pitches in India have been flat and not much of complaints, I would say.
Yeah.
So far, they've been good pitches.
They've been flat, yeah, a bit on the slower side was what I'm saying. Like flat, I mean, I'm saying, like the ones you get in Australia, South Africa, England, those kind of flat tracks, 400 seems easy. But the kind of tracks that you got in India, they're not that typical Rajkot kind of flat tracks where you get 380. These are flat tracks, but they have a bit of a grip, a bit of a turn in them. So, that requires a different skill, which is why, 290, sometimes 300 also seems tough. So that sort of. But I think, yeah, I mean, there's no reason to complain for any team. These are different kind of surfaces. People will have to get
Yep.
used to. Man.
Because
And-
remember, the South Africa-England match that's going to happen on 22nd in Mumbai, that might be a high-scoring game. 400,
Yeah.
350, 400 might be guaranteed there.
Agreed.
Because Mumbai, as we know, it's a flat deck. Absolute road of a wicket.
Yeah. Pitmong says if Afghanistan beats Kiwis tomorrow, which looks like a possibility on the Chennai pitch, then this World Cup will be on fire.
I agree. I think on that Chennai wicket, Afghanistan start as the favorites because they've got the spinners. Their spinners are doing a much better job than the Kiwi spinners also.
I don't think so. Huh? It's Santner, Sodhi. They might play Sodhi. Santner, Sodhi.
Yeah.
I don't think are in comparison to any spinning duo any less. So I'm not sure whether spin would only favor Afghanistan.
But,
I know
but
Afghanistan.
Siddharth, before you switch sides, did I hear you right that Afghanistan start ahead of New Zealand tomorrow?
I mean, look at the bowling combination.
I'm just clarifying because I'll hold you to it tomorrow.
Sure, hold it against me. But then see, the bowling combination, especially the spin combination, gives me far more confidence in Afghanistan. Yeah, Sodhi might come in, and remember, New Zealand are without Kane Williamson also yet again. Now, how long is he going to be sidelined? I don't know. Maybe another 2-3 games. That's it. So let's hope Kane Williamson makes a recovery. But the batting is weakened because Williamson's not there. Now it's up to the others to again step up and ensure that they contribute. But okay, Ravindra, Santner, Sodhi, these three guys compared to the caliber of Rashid, Mujib, Nabi.
I tell you what,
say Afghanistan.
Who knows Noor?
Everyone,
Noor plays.
Everyone, a lot of people in the comment are also thinking that Noor will play and this. But let me tell you, the pitch that you got in the India game in Chennai was very different that you got in the remaining games after that. There was a lot of complaints also raised that it wasn't that spin friendly. So don't expect it to be an out rank turner. It's not going to be a pitch like that. There'll be a lot of runs scored as well. And so for me, New Zealand start clearly the favorite. No matter the condition, they start clearly the favorite versus Afghanistan. A lot of people are pointing out that it'll be an upset tomorrow. I'm ready to bet that no, it it will be like Prasad is saying. He's saying he's from Dubai. He says, remember I had said that there will be a lot of upsets here, 3 or 4, and he feels that tomorrow there'll be another upset with Afghan winning. So I'm not too sure. People are really bullish about them after the win versus England, but I don't think
Yeah.
the same will happen versus New Zealand. That's my
But I like this optimism. I think it's good for a tournament.
It
yeah,
is.
it
It is.
is.
See, already you've had more upsets as compared to 2019 and 2015. Where was an upset in 2019? Hardly any. 2015, hardly any. 11 was the last tournament where you had a lot of upsets. 7 and 11.
Yeah.
15, what was an upset? Hardly.
Uh,
King, do you
England
want
getting England.
Ireland beating the West Indies. Okay, that's one upset, but you already had two. Afghanistan beating England, Netherlands beating South Africa. 11 and 7, they were the last, along with 3 major editions that had huge upsets.
King, do you want to know, is there a mutiny happening in the Pakistan camp? I don't know where you read that from, but there are a few people that are sick that does not amount to mutiny at all.
Mutiny.
I don't know,
Mutiny.
as you guys have.
I know. The Gadar of
Well,
2023. Yeah?
is he confusing immunity with munity? Mutiny.
A mutiny. Immunity. ये
Could
तो
be. Just as
पाकिस्तान
he
में गदर
confused,
हो रहा है.
just as Harshit confused it, you never know, King D may have also.
Yeah. 2023 की गदर. पाकिस्तान की कहानी, maybe. Mutiny is called Gadar, no? In
Yes, it is.
Huh?
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
yeah, because 1857 mutiny we call it
Yes. Brother.
1857 की Gadar.
Yeah. But actually, mutiny is like also can be Bagavat, a revolt, or Bagavat is
A
also.
revolt, a rebellion.
Yep. So, oof.
But Gadar is also a right word, yeah.
Yes, Gadar. Oh boy, I'm actually scared.
So
for tomorrow.
William Saliback with Haaland says that Sports Today, Van Meeken worked as an Uber Eats driver and now he's delivering an upset.
Yes.
Bit of words.
Paul Van Meckeren. Yep. He
Yeah.
was the
So
Uber
he was
Eats driver.
And now he's delivering an upset, so he's using
Upset.
the word very well.
Exactly.
But that's
I
what
mean,
Siddharth pointed out, how a lot of them are, semi-professional cricketers. They have their day jobs, and doing that, to have played this and beaten a test team, a top test team, no small feat. They did it in T20 World Cups before this, but in that format you expect, right? That format allows for upsets. There's a lot of uncertainty, but in a longer format, usually the better team often wins, and to do an upset
Yes.
in a 50-over game is much tougher. So I think it's the biggest win for Netherlands. Despite their 3 wins in T20 World Cup, I think this is their biggest.
Yep, maybe that belief came in the 374 chase against the West Indies in the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, they were down and out, but Scott Edwards, Tejan Nidamanuru, Logan Van Beek, everybody chipped in. And yet again, who saved them in that day? It was the tail. The tail had ensured that they got to 374. And you saw Logan Van Beek hit 31 runs in that super over that Jason Holder bowled.
Yeah.
Madness it was that day in Zimbabwe. So that's why you may say Netherlands' lower order is much better than their top order. Every time you see it, they have only bailed them out in crisis situations. Especially one certain South African who left South Africa years ago. Wandamawa! What a catch he took to dump them out. Here, the celebrations and the emotion. When Miller's catch was dropped, that emotion was went viral.
He started that landslide of South Sea for South Africa with that wicket of Temba Bavuma. Bavuma had no idea it was the arm ball.
Absolutely cleaned Temba up, unfortunately. Poor guy. Clueless.
Yeah. Kushagra has a point. He says Netherlands lower order is better than Indian lower order, which is true. Indian lower order, but the Indian lower order is never required. The top order.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
I'm going to take Akash Bhardwaj wants to know, if you had to pick just one, peak Stark or peak Bumrah for your World Cup team, who will you take? Going across the room, Siddharth Stark.
Peak Bumrah, hands down. Much more accurate and deadlier.
Yes.
What format has he asked? What format has he asked?
Any format, irrespective of
World Cup.
Okay.
Peak
I
Bumrah,
like
yeah.
I like Stark's angle and I like his in swingers a lot, but Jasprit Bumrah. I'll go with Jasprit. Even then.
Yeah, make it 3 out of 3. No brainer for me. Jasprit Bumrah, eyes closed any day.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's skill set is next level, yeah. Jasprit Bumrah, next level.
Getting you wickets on flat decks there right now.
Good
Exactly.
question,
And
Sports Warrior. Seeing this, would India play their best 11 against Bangladesh? Shoo. But I think they would have anyway going to play their best 11. What we had
Yeah.
pointed out earlier, at best they bring in Shami to rotate Siraj and Bumrah.
Hmm.
Again, does not really take away from their best 11. Marginally you could say, but I don't think there's going to be
Yeah.
too much of a difference if they.
So I think, yeah, I mean, India, see, again, number 8 and Siraj or Bumrah, that will only be a rotation. I don't see anybody else fitting in. Batting, I don't think you will make changes that much in this World Cup. Hardly.
Yep.
So,
So on that note, shall we call it a night?
yep. 3 days, 2 upsets. Man, middle of the World Cup is really, really hotting up. And let's see tomorrow, 3 upsets in 4 days. Could happen.
Let's see.
Let's see.
but
Because it's in
ending
Chennai. If
it
it was in any other location, I would have backed the Kiwis totally. But this is Chennai.
No, I
but just
overestimating the Chennai pitch for being a spin-friendly track. I don't think it'll be that spin.
but but let's just end this on a lighter note. And Nikhil, since you weren't around then, while this was, when you had just started to expect an upset in this match, and the young Turk who was accompanying Siddharth and Shane the other day, he's like, where can we go and do the live for today? Like,
He
sorry.
wanted to again go to Afghan market.
You could have, you take a flight and go to.
Eindhoven or Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again,
Anyhow.
too many formalities here. Isn't it?
Why?
Travel desk, please. I need and visa. That visa for Indians itself takes this much bucket loads of documents.
Anyhow.
See what Pakistan must be facing, we must also be facing, na? For EU nations.
But chalo, if there is an upset, you do get to go to Afghan market again tomorrow.
Nah, that time you need the fans
Nah,
here.
you just said Afghanistan going as favorites or the better team.
Yeah, but let's
Bas.
see, the fans needed to be here. I think that Delhi game, that was it. We luckily got those super fans.
Chalo, okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So let's see. Tomorrow it's New Zealand versus Afghanistan, but we are also building up to the mega clash on 19th. India versus Bangladesh at the MCA Stadium in Pune. So we'll be bringing you all the updates. 3 good matches coming up, by the way, this entire week. Because it's Pakistan, Australia on 20th.
On Friday.
Yes, in Bengaluru. So,
Yep.
okay,
What's
guys.
coming up?
Yep. So tap that bell icon so when we go live, and don't forget to download the Sportstak mobile app for all the information you need. Bye-bye from me, Nikhil, and
Pakistan have enough fit players for that game?
I hope so. Whether they want to be fit, that's another eager question altogether.
Even why would anyone not want to be fit?
Pakistan, you never know.
Achha, my last question to you. Will this be a World Cup full of surprises? We have got 2.
No.
Are
No.
more in the offering?
No.
No more surprises?
Not
No more
too many.
big
More.
breaking? Oh, done.
Was this the last? Maybe, hopefully. Sure. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.